Hello again. I took a break from making videos to give myself a bit of mental room to think about how I might best use WayotWorld from this point on. I wanted to have something valuable to say, not just fall into a predictable routine. So much has changed just since the start of this year, and I've been doing a lot of thinking and re-evaluating. But now I feel I have something I need to say, so let's get on with it. This summer I've made a lot of posts about sport, mostly about the European Football Championship and the Olympics. My focus has been the absurdity of international competition in the age of multiculturalism, and how diversity always emerges as the winner, especially when it fails. International contests, when they are worthy of that name, satisfy a fundamental human need for tribal group identity. The need to feel oneself as part of a group that broadly shares one's values, culture, history, and yes, DNA. How far we have strayed from that today. It speaks to the level of multicultural brainwashing that many Europeans can still get excited about a contest when half the players on the pitch are not even European, let alone of their own nation. Rarely will you ever see a white man so passionate about anything as when his team wins or loses. And it's only a matter of time before European nations are represented by entirely non-European teams, just as it's only a matter of time before Europeans are minorities in their own countries. Through sustained anti-whiteism, the aim of the globalists is to write the European peoples entirely out of their own story. If they manage to do this, they know that the idea of the nation-state will be dead forever. One geographical population will be interchangeable for another, and the world will be theirs. England's most talked about player this summer, Raheem Sterling, is actually Jamaican by ethnicity and birth. I posted this charming picture of him and his child doing a satanic hand sign after the match against Germany. One reply to my post, from a nationalist, was especially interesting. It read, "Calling this the sign of the devil is beyond outdated. 99.9% of the time, people just want to do a cool sign, or do it ironically, or are metalheads." The comment got quite a few likes, again from nationalists. That we have reached a point where we can dismiss such a display as ironic or cool, to me spoke volumes about where we are spiritually as a people and civilization. Evil and the ignorance and tolerance that support it has seeped so far into our daily lives that we have lost the ability to recognize it for what it is, and this leads me to the main point of this video. The most important thing I could possibly say to you now is that the battle we are in today is not political but spiritual. For most of my time as WayotWorld, I naively hoped that a movement could be forged to reverse the decline, that we could get our countries back. But such a view is to misunderstand the scale and nature of the evil arrayed against us, which is, I believe, quite literally biblical in scale. Our victory cannot and will not be found at the ballot box, but in purifying the hearts of men. In globalism, in the new global order, we are facing an evil that is inverting every truth. It calls evil good and good evil. It calls women men and men women. It celebrates the murder of the unborn. It wants to indoctrinate our children with transgenderism and then mutilate them. It wants to brainwash them so they never want to make families of their own. The new global order seeks to dismantle our way of life and teach our people to hate and sacrifice themselves, and it's working.
So because of this glaring difference between the narrative when racism is directed towards white people compared to other races, I went onto the streets of Copenhagen, Denmark to see if this narrative also is the way normal people view it.
Dumbass fucking black people marking up the internet with their opinions like dogs pissing on a fire hydrant. She's a South Korean immigrant, by the way. It's kind of messed up stuff, right?
think she sounds mentally ill.
Right. Do you think that if she wrote this stuff, do you still think she should be like fired or something from the Post?
Of course.
But as far as I remember, what the New York Times said is that they looked at it, they had talked about her with it. They do not condone it, but they still hired her.
Alright. It doesn't make any sense.
No, it's crazy, right? We're in agreement here. Like, it's really like horribly racist comments, right?
It's like Nazi.
Yeah. But here's the twist. I said there was a twist. She actually did not write this about black people. She wrote it about white people. Does that change the situation? That's the twist.
I kind of understand her.
Right. So she suddenly changed. Okay. So you don't think she should be fired now?
No.
Not at all.
No.
So you kind of understand her now that it's about white people.
I do.
Right. What makes you say that?
I'm sick of listening to white people talk about minorities' problems because they honestly have no idea about their own privilege.
Okay, so now it's not really mentally ill or disgusting. Now it's kind of okay, honestly.
Yeah, because it's white people are everywhere. Everything, history is white. Everything's white.
Isn't that almost like? But what about in China? What if I went to China and was like this towards like Chinese people and said, "Oh, you're the majority"?
Well,
we
being
still
white,
carry the legacies with us.
I don't even want to listen to white people.
Right. And where have you gotten this like idea from? I'm kind of wondering. Like
I've always surrounded myself with people from different classes and races and and minorities.
All right. Okay. So that's like where it's come from, I guess. Not from the school or university or.
Also school.
Also
and
school.
University, everywhere. Education.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So you're kind of like educated about this, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
Our zombie civilization has fallen because its men have lost sight of their divine purpose. The effect on both our men and women has been catastrophic. The loss of our moral core has created a vacuum into which alien tribes and subversive factions have crawled. With no spiritual strength, we have been powerless to resist and have fallen only further into materialism and degeneracy. Do not look to save the West because it is already dead. I do not exaggerate when I say that right now we are in the grip of evil, and without once again knowing God in our individual lives and as a people, we will remain there. As the West abandoned God, God abandoned the West, and his church is facing brutal attack from the same globalist evil that is attacking our people. And, like our people, many churches have been terribly damaged, not just physically, but spiritually. Much of the Christian church, it is pointless to deny, has been enlisted into the cause of evil. But corruption in the church is no more a reason to give up on God than white leftists are a reason to give up on our people. The overall lack of spiritual strength in nationalism is a problem. I too have largely avoided religion in my videos to date because I saw it as divisive and as a distraction from the other issues I discuss, but not anymore. God is not a distraction from the issues we face, but the key to understanding and dealing with them. Nationalism, our people, and the truth itself are doomed if we continue to turn our backs on God. Only in Him lies sufficient strength for us to get through what is coming, what is already here. No matter what you may think of Christianity, our enemies target it relentlessly, and to the exclusion of all other religions. Ever notice that? Leftists who claim to be for women's rights will tolerate endless Islamic misogyny and so-called homophobia. They will stay silent over female genital mutilation, and seem not to notice the rape epidemic caused by Muslim immigration. Ask yourself why that is. Could it be that all these other religions are serving their agenda? They clearly are no threat to it. I want to show you a video of what happens in today's Canada when a Christian minister who is uncompromising in his faith tries to do his work.
Like I said, number one, I'm not here to talk to anybody that doesn't want my message. Number two, I'm not targeting any community. Number three, I'm here to baptize people that have already accepted my message. And I hope, as a newscaster and as someone that's a member of the LGBT community, you can respect freedom of rights and speech. Do you respect freedom of rights and speech?
Why do you have to baptize
I'm
here?
asking.
Why do you have to baptize
Because
at this
I'm in
location?
Vancouver.
There's a lot of other locations that you can baptize at.
Where? Where? If you can tell me, I would gladly go. I would gladly go to any beach that's nearby. Can you tell me one? Last I checked, the gay community was way on the other side of the beach. The reason why I came to this side of the beach is because it's not the gay community. I'm a black man. How am I supporting white supremacy? In the name of Jesus. The judgment of God is being seen. He just assaulted me. He just assaulted me. I thought you believe in love. I thought you believe in love for everyone who hates me. You hear that? Say it again. Say it again. You hate me. That's okay. Look at me on camera. That's assault number 2. Are you a Christian too? You want to join us? I want to be baptized. Come.
I will never be a civic nationalist. I will never believe that race does not matter. Only ethnically homogeneous societies can work. But the video you've just seen and a few other things I've experienced recently show that race is just not enough. In this age of spiritual warfare, I relate to this pastor far more than I could ever relate to these leftist demons, many of whom happen to share my European lineage. Our enemies understand the difference between good and evil, and they have consciously chosen the side of evil. What is afflicting the West is a tide of anti-white, anti-Christian, satanic globalism, and until we look again to God for strength, expect it to continue washing over us. In our current state, I don't think there's much we can do to really fight back against the satanic global order. It is in full control of all the institutions, and our people are lost and fragmented. For now, the only thing we can do is sort ourselves out, get right with God, build ourselves up spiritually, and help our loved ones prepare for the considerable trials ahead. We must use the power of God to protect us and build us into a formidable force, capable of resisting the onslaught. You have to understand that our nationalist struggle is taking place as part of a larger shift on this planet. Anti-whiteism and all the struggles we face are just parts of an agenda of pure evil that is intended to take over every country and subjugate every nation to its will. I'm not telling you how to live. How you live your life is something only you can decide for yourself. But I do urge you to keep seeking the truth as a matter of urgency. If you feel an increasing restlessness in your soul, like I have of late, if you feel a darkness that overtakes you, you need to find a way out of it. You need to realize that you don't have to and cannot fight this evil alone. God has all the strength you need.